Tell us a little bit more about Level Up. What is Level Up? What made you start? What is the genesis? What made you start Level Up?
Um, the way that I built it was sort of a hub for the outliers.
All right.
Do you know what outliers mean? What does it mean to you?
So,
Oh, like
what is an
Juju, your hair looks
outlier?
fabulous while Marcus thinks.
I had some things going on the computer for once minute. But anyway, as far as outlier, as far as a definition, I've got a person or thing that is atypical within a particular group, class, or category. So we are atypical people. Is that what you seek, Krista?
Um, Sort of. I when I was actually looking up the information as far as the definition of outlier, it was different than just the feeling that I had when I heard someone talk 4 years ago about outliers that fall through the cracks and the reasons that they fall through the cracks. I was just like, that's me. I didn't know what it exactly meant. I was just like, I feel seen. And so outliers to me is the definition I found that I resonate with the most was a piece of data that doesn't fit the pattern. It doesn't fit the rest of the set. And that's sort of how I've always felt, like always wanting to fit in, but never quite feeling like I could effectively, or like I was a weirdo, or an outcast, or I was misunderstood. And I didn't even know how to explain, myself. So I built it for the outliers, and my definition is anyone who feels rejected or misunderstood or like they don't fit just perfectly in that data set of the social dynamic that we live in. Juju, what do you think?
The definition I found is a person or thing situated away or detached from the main body or system, or a person or thing differing from all other members of a particular group or set.
Yeah, that's that's very much how I feel about it. Because I think there's a lot of different definitions people can have for outliers. And over the 3 years of building this, multiple people have said, you need to define your niche. You need to, what you need to define what an outlier is. And I'm like, I can't. I can't. I just knew I was one in the way that I was heard it described. And I think outliers is a very big umbrella that includes a lot of things like people with trauma or people that are neurodivergent, such as myself, as I've learned. I think it's a very big umbrella and you cannot define it. So I've built something that is for all who want to be here, all who will are welcome. If you feel like an outlier, you are one.
I guess it's safe to say we're just odd, but in a good way. In a good way.
Well,
Uh,
Dr. Seuss said you have to be odd to be number one.
that's right.
Or
It's
that
lonely at the top. For those that may not know what neurodivergence is, it is defined as someone's brain processing, learning, or behaving differently from what is considered typical. So again, we're back to being atypical, essentially.
And I don't really know if people understand neurodivergence exactly because the term has sort of become a buzzword in the past couple of years, so to say. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, or even a stigma around it, putting people in a certain number of boxes or boxes that define a particular thing. And I defy that. I defy all of that because I feel like each person is uniquely built and has their own story that no one else understands, no one else knows. And so neurodivergent can explain certain things, but no one needs to be put in a box unless they want to be. I put myself in the neurodivergence box because I resonate with people that call themselves neurodivergent and explain things to me that I completely resonate with. I'm not diagnosed for any of this. This is just my story, and I think that it's interesting that Juju, you've studied some of this, and this is what really gives you a passion to want to help people and stuff. What are your thoughts on neurodivergence? I struggle with saying the word every time. I have to say it twice.
It's a tricky word. Um, yeah, my brain is fried. Too many ideas, not enough mouth. Um,
I so resonate with that.
yeah, I mean, neurodivergence is hard. It's not even like an official, like technical term. Um, a lot of people use it to describe like autism and ADHD, but there's a lot of other things that fall under that umbrella too, like dyscalculia, dyslexia, I believe like bipolar disorder and several different other things kind of all fall under that umbrella of just that your brain is wired differently. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you or that it's bad. It just means that your brain functions atypically to the way that society is currently designed for. Um, and so it means, if you're kind of born with a brain on hard mode, but again, like our best inventors throughout history are people who are most likely neurodivergent because their brains work differently, and that breeds innovation and change and ways of uh, figuring out how to do things better. And, I think it's a asset to society, but definitely in, times like today where it's very much go to your 9 to 5 and you put your nose to the grindstone and you do what you got to do. It can be very hard to a brain that uh is very full and resists status quos. Um,
Yeah. It's really interesting, actually, the way that I got introduced to that word, neurodivergent. 2 Halloweens ago, I was at a Halloween party for my friend, and this guy Chris, I was showing him like my very rough draft of the intro to the podcast episodes, and he said, "I love what you're doing because neurodivergence needs a home." And I didn't have that
mm,
word in my intro at the time that I showed him that. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what's neurodivergence? I went home and looked it up, and basically, like, the definition I got was you're different. And I was like, that's me. And then more I looked into it, the more I realized what he was saying was completely accurate. The outliers, the ones who feel like they don't belong, or the ones that have issues that are undiagnosed, and have
mhm,
a rare strain of something. Like there are so many different stories and experiences, and people get left out when they're different. And I've felt like that. I've watched it happen to my brother. I've watched it happen to friends. And everyone just wants a place to belong. And I want to create that because I want people to feel safe. And I feel like neurodivergence makes you different in a way that makes you become an outcast the second you say the word.
mhm. Even just going through life, especially, I mean, whether you're diagnosed or undiagnosed, I mean, either way, the world has a way of making you feel othered
Mm-hmm.
by it. Just having a brain that performs, again, just like atypically, you view things differently, you process things differently. And all of that is an asset in a lot of ways, but it's also a hindrance in a lot of ways too, because again, like it makes you grow up feeling othered. It makes you grow up feeling different, whether you're diagnosed and you have this thing where you know that you have to have, certain accommodations that can make you feel different from your peers who are able to just do things normally, or if you're um diagnosed or undiagnosed and you just sit there and struggle and have no idea why, and everybody says, well, you're fine, you're normal, like why are you struggling so hard with things? Just clean your room, just do your homework, just you know do the things that people expect you to be able to just do. And it's like, well, I have to know the end product of what I'm doing. And if I can't visualize how it's supposed to be at the end, completely done, then I have no idea how to do the thing. So I'll sit there, what looks like being lazy sitting on the couch for 3 hours, just like doom scrolling on my phone or something. There's so much internal activity. But like the world sees that completely differently. They see you as just avoiding or um being lazy, or they charge it as a personal failing or a moral failing, versus this is just the way that my brain processes tasks. I have to know exactly how to do it before I can actually perform the function. And there's so many different things like that along the way where it's just sitting there saying, like, I need to do the task. I want to do the task so I can have it done and behind me. But my brain executives, what I refer to, executive dysfunctioning, uh, the brain executives are dysfunctioning. They won't agree to allow me to do the task. And I want to, but I just sit there like physically paralyzed.
Like I can't.
Um,
I know I should, but I
until,
can't.
yeah, until my brain allows me to actually get up and do the thing. Like, so there's so many ways where it's a hindrance, but I mean, there's also so much creativity and again, like innovation that can come out of it. Um,
And
but
that's
yeah, so
what I
it's,
want to help people be able to leverage because that's how I felt
mhm,
5 years ago when someone described the word outliers. And I was going through this trauma coaching certificate program with him, and he described outliers as falling through the cracks because you feel forgotten and you try to do so much to make other people feel loved that you forget yourself in ways that can
mhm,
lead to you being emotionally or physically or mentally abused by other people just because you don't know how to set boundaries and your validation comes from other people instead of being able to validate yourself by knowing who you are, what your goal and your purpose is. And those people have a power that they know deep inside they have, but they feel forgotten. And they also feel like they forget themselves because they try to help other people. And when you said those words, I resonated so hard with that because I think that is how everybody feels. When I say I
mhm,
feel a particular type of way, some people resonate and then some people don't, but they feel a type of way that I don't understand either. And
mhm,
it's truly when you build community and you talk to each other and you listen and then you learn what you don't know because it may not make sense to me why someone can't just do this. I mean, you need to, why can't you do it? Well, now I know how that is because like when I can't even do normal life things because of depression,
mhm,
I now understand that, I felt like something was wrong with me this whole time, but it wasn't. There was nothing wrong with me. I was different
mhm,
and I didn't understand myself. I didn't know where my power was channeling from because I didn't feel worthy of anything.
mhm,
And yet I wanted to help people and I wanted to be happy and I wasn't because I spent so much time making everyone else happy. And the things that I didn't
Yes.
understand about myself of why I'm different and ADHD, um, I didn't learn those things until I was ready to leverage the fact that I'm different and see that being different's not a bad thing. Because I always just wanted to be like everybody else. I just
yeah,
wanted to be normal. Now I'm like,
mhm,
oh, I'm totally not normal. Like, I'm not normal at all. And it's okay. Like, some people
yeah,
are different. Some people are weird. Some people are odd. Literally, you are just one person, and there's no one like you. Not
mhm,
one. And so I want us to stand up for people, in a way that is so important in a really dark and broken world where people tear down more than they build up.
mhm. That's the thing. That's something that I hope that people are able to get out of Level Up in the long term as we do more and more series and, eventually touch on mental health and neurodivergence and do different things kind of in that realm, is just help people create a life where they're not just surviving, but thriving
Hmm.
and not feeling like they have to hide the parts of themselves that are different, but that are able to recognize that those things are where your power comes from. That's where your purpose comes from. That's where the best parts of you come from, are the things that are unlike anybody else, because that's where,
Right.
you bring you to the world. And you is
Exactly.
important.
And there's
Every
no one
single
else
you
like
in
you.
this world. Yeah. Everybody has a purpose and a reason why they're here, and it can be hard to see that sometimes, hard to find it, hard to put it into action. Um, but hopefully that's why we're here, to help people eventually do that.
Yeah.
Help people level up in a bunch of different areas in their lives and teach people perspectives and, things that they've never been exposed to before and all the good stuff.
And there are no boxes, here.
Hmm.
That's what I want to do away with, because when people start separating themselves by defining certain things, but not everybody fits the mold of
Hmm.
everything, then you define people and assume things about them before you even know who they are. And
Hmm.
you define them by religion, politics, or culture, like
Hmm.
whatever it is that they say, if you are able to put them in a box in your mind, then you have an assumption built on the framework of your past and your trauma, but also you don't know their life either. And that
Yeah.
assumption can lead to, a lot of turmoil inside your own mind, because you don't even really know what
Hmm.
you don't know. And
Yeah.
I fed myself stories of unworthiness and being different when I could have spoken up at times and said, I don't feel like that. I wish I could be like that. But I felt weird doing that because everyone else like knew things they didn't know, or was, a certain type of way. And I wanted to fit in so badly, but I also felt like I didn't have a voice to say that, because then people would
Mm.
laugh at me, or think I was weird. And now it's okay if they laugh or think I'm weird, because I accept that I totally am. And I want to learn from everybody
Mhm.
else, because I don't judge anyone like I used to when I judged myself and was
Mhm.
guilty. I felt guilty for not doing what I needed to do. And I feel freedom in that.
Mhm.
And I feel like people are bound in chains so often in this world we live in, myself included, but you don't have to be.
Yeah.
When God is at your side, I mean, He healed me
Mhm.
in a really powerful way. That is what made me build this. And bada bing, bada boom, God brought me an army,
Yeah.
because I was going to give up and I was like, I can't do this. This is too much myself. So, Juju, that's why you're here. You were the first one.
Yeah. I'm excited to be a part of this with you and help you grow it. Hopefully more from the behind the scenes going forward. But you
Yes.
um
Thank you so much for
yeah,
being on camera. I love this.
you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. And you needed this, because I need the people to know why you're a part of what I'm building. Sorry, Marcus, I'm going totally off script here, and like I don't even know
No,
what
Yeah.
the agenda says down
totally
there, but
okay.
like I
Totally
knew
okay.
I knew this would just come together. Even if we didn't have exactly the streamlined plan of how to introduce Juju to the world. Guys, I saw and observed Justine Kaiser in a group called 824. I saw the way she responded to people. I saw the advice that she gave people. I saw the way she broke up arguments, and people didn't get triggered. I saw her bring peace to the comments, the groups, multiple arenas that I overlapped with Juju in. And at one point we had met and talked about, what was it, essential oils? Juju.
Yeah, like
And
insomnia and
insomnia. And I was like, I'm gonna make you like Kiki Sleepy's blend. And then I you told me that you were allergic to certain things. And so um that's how we initially talked. But really, I watched you. I watched your character, and you were a person that I wanted in my life, that I deeply respected and admired. and that the moment I started making money, I wanted to pay to lead this thing with me. But I wasn't going to ask you to work for free. That level up felt like very much my responsibility. And when you aligned and came on board, I was shocked because I asked you basically to lead this thing with me that's making no money, it has no profit, nothing to show for it, wasn't even launched. And 24 hours later, you came back and said yes. And the importance of that for me, knowing basically you're signing on to something, you're not making anything off of it, but you aligned because you saw what I'm building and you are willing to volunteer and sacrifice your time that you don't have much of to do this. That spoke volumes to me. But what spoke volumes to me the most was your character before I ever met you. I saw the way you conduct your life, Juju. And to the world, I saw this woman conduct her life in a way that brought peace and not division. And she was a vessel where I could literally see God's love in the way that she touches people's lives. And she never asks for anything in return. And that is a very big part of why I asked her to do this with me, because she is the heart of Level Up and she can be the backbone since she sees my heart and aligns with my heart in the same way. And that's why Juju's here. I don't know why Juju's here in her mind, because I still don't know why she said yes for what I put her through and the amount
Yeah.
of work she's had to do. But I'm
It's
so
only
thankful.
been a little chaos.
Just a little chaos. Yeah. Platform went down 3 years after planning this. Rosie went down last weekend, but in 12 minutes, we pulled it together. And you guys have been an anchor for
It
me
happened.
in this arm of like Level Up with the YouTube lives. Is truly, the introduction to the squad. And I want people to know the face and the voice and the heart before you go behind the curtain again to
Yeah.
handle the backbone of things, because now I'm not the business person behind the scenes for my creative small businesses. I'm the one that's the creative. I'm like, I need someone to handle everything else. And I deeply admire and trust you, Juju. So that's why I wanted you here. I don't know why you wanted to be here, but I also know Marcus has a very strong impression of you as well, just as minimally as he knew you. He says very similar things about your character. Marcus, feel free to share. Or Juju, feel free to share why you said yes to me.
Well, first of all, I was if you guys saw me freeze, I lost connection for a bit, but I am back, thank God. Um, but probably all the best because good hosting involves knowing when to stay out of the way because you guys heard some great stuff from both Juju and Krista. I'm supposed to ask Krista, what does level up entail, but I think you guys just heard quite a bit of it in that conversation. And in speaking about Juju, I can say that most of us, many of us, adore her because when things go wrong, we ask her what to do, and our world has stopped spinning. And once she gives us advice, and we follow it, and the earth starts spinning again. So we love Juju. She's always got something positive and good to tell us all. So Juju, we're so happy that you are well, not today, but normally behind the scenes. Um, but yeah, we're so grateful to have you here
The
because
JKOK.
Yeah.
yes, that the
Justine
JK.
Kaiser
JK, okay.
approved.
That's right.
We run everything through Juju, and then sometimes we
Yeah,
put it change our minds when she's like, "You think this would be a better idea, or I don't think you should do this." And both of us are like, "Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's why we need you."
That's right. So, well,
Thanks, guys.
Juju, we are so very glad to have met you, and I'm sure those that are on now or may be on in the future will be glad they have met you as well.
Hmm.
But we are glad you are the backbone of Level Up.
Thank you. I'm glad to have the opportunity to be it.
And it's been fun too, to get into random conversations instead of planning the
Absolutely.
agenda about Bernstein Bears, like, and
Yeah.
what else did we talk about?
Curious
Golden
George
Girls.
and yeah, Golden Girls. Yeah,
Yeah.
like all this stuff.
All the
I
all
shouldn't
the
know
things
anything
you guys
about Golden
explained to
Girls,
me.
but yeah, I know all their names. I've seen half the episodes, so yeah. But yeah,
Knowing better than we do.
yeah. So it's kind of freaky. But Krista, let me ask you really quickly, as far as level up structure is concerned, what are your ideas or your plans going forward?
So what I've been building is the podcast side of things. So that's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can stream podcasts. That will be available with the first launch, or with the launch of the first miniseries on December 24th in honor of my grandma. These are her earrings. These are her bracelets. And she was very excited about this, so I wanted to honor her. And it's the first Christmas Eve without her, and my grandma loved her birthday. So I
Mm.
wanted to do something special for her, and it's a podcast and mini series. So um, the series I mentioned last week, I'll mention them again, but we have a series on narcissism with Melissa Leitner. We have a series on healing with Melissa Leitner and Leah Marshall. We have a business series, a business advice series that I'm working on with Denise Olivas. I'm working with Jesse Diaz on a special project, which started as an immigration series for the podcast and has turned into something different that will probably be starting sooner. So we'll keep you all posted on that. And you'll meet Jesse in 2 weeks. You'll meet Marcus next week and Jesse the week after that. Um, but the the Level Up YouTube this 4:30 Monday live. For now, I want to introduce you to the squad. I want to introduce you to Level Up and the heart behind it, and then also the people that have built this. And we see this as a family. And we want people to feel welcome to join the family of Level Up. And that's why we call this the Igloo, because it's the safe space where you see the real, the real life and the real people and the conversations that are not edited or hours of planning and all of that like you will see on the podcast, which will be audio only. I really wanted people to see the faces behind the scenes, um, and the squad of the people that have built this, and I want others to be able to resonate and to build community here. So I wanted not just an audio podcast series. I wanted a live video series, and the podcast series is not ready yet because we want a certain number of series in the queue before we launch. So we're bringing you a preview of the faces behind all of that, and um, I'm not sure exactly what's to come, but I know a level up is for anybody who wants to be here. It's for all who will. You are welcome. You are very, very welcome, and you can say anything you want about how you feel. And this is a safe place, and we protect each other, and we are kind. So that's what Level Up is, to me, and sort of what I see for what's coming for now. It's 4:30 every Monday on YouTube, live, and live despite the messy. Sorry, I was a little late. And the series, the mini series that will launch one after another starting December 24th. So we'll launch the first mini series first. All of Narcissism, including the introduction episode, will launch. And then every Monday after that, we will launch one episode from the series following that. And yeah, that's all I got.
So last week, when we first launched, we had just about everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong, but we were able to finally go online. We actually asked Krista if she would like to push it off a week to give ourselves more time, and she was very adamant. She said, absolutely not. It was October 20th, and she was adamant that we had to start on that day. Krista, October 20th is pretty important for you. Would you mind sharing the story behind that date and why it's so special to you?
Yeah. October 20th of 2022 was an important day because that is when I felt the touch of God. That was like a spark. I literally leaped up off the couch, and I have never felt so loved, so much clarity that God exists, that He is real, and I was single and content. I had found contentment and joy as a single person who had always longed for marriage. I had never been single and happy at that deep down level. And that day is what changed my life. And I had done a lot of work leading up to that with coaching and mentorship and discipleship and all different kinds of things. But it was the touch of God that sparked what I would refer to as Krista 2.0, because Krista 2.0 is much more loving and less judging and knows where she's going. And I didn't feel those things before that day. So ever since that day, I've built something to help people feel and know that that is possible and you can change your life and God can change you like that. And it is the
And
hardest but sweetest thing I've ever done to level up by saying yes to God. And I do it every day for the rest of my life because it's amazing. And I want everyone else to know that it is possible to feel like
sweet.
that. Sweet.
Some.
Yeah.
So that actually happened. What church did that occur at?
It happened on my couch.
Oh, it did not happen at church. So it
No,
happened
it was the
at your
worst
home.
anxiety
Okay.
attack day of my life. My mom had to pick me up in the Jack in the Box parking lot. And I had been doing so well and working on changing my life for over a year and a half prior to that day. And that day I just felt broken all over again. And not just broken, but the worst anxiety attack. Like I was going backwards instead of forwards. And I just prayed because I was like, God, I've already tried it the world's way. Like, it doesn't work. It just left me sad and disappointed and hiding behind a face of what the world wanted. And I can't go back. So I guess I just have to keep going. And at that moment, God touched me. And I will never forget that moment because that's the moment that changed my life personally. And that's the moment I decided I wanted to build something where everyone knew that was possible. Because the people that prayed over me, my parents that counseled me, CJ who discipled me, my pastor Ricky at Cross of Grace Church, that I had come back to, all of those elements, and even trauma coaching and relationship coaching, all those things played small integral parts into helping me learn the neuroscience and the spiritual strength and the things. And I healed in little ways where I knew I was on the right path. But then I had that really bad moment. And then God touched me. And it was the moment I was like, I'll never turn back. I know God is real. And I know He loves me for the first time in my life. And I want everyone to feel this happy because I did not know this was possible after being so broken 5 years ago. So that's why this is here. And I think people that have resonated with it in some way resonated with those feelings have come alongside to do the same thing. We just want to be help people feel safe, seen, heard, and loved.
Sweet. So for those of you that need tissues, they are right out in the hall if you need to step
Yeah.
up a second. But awesome story.
I feel
Um,
exposed. I'm
I
crying,
really
mom.
enjoyed that. Um, God is awesome in every way, shape, and form. When we feel, and I know I'm a living witness, when we feel our absolute lowest, He is still there, even though sometimes we may not be able to trace Him. But by His own word, He promised that He'll never leave us.
Yeah.
Krista, if we can get comical for a second, what is your
Okay.
favorite TV show?
I think I would have to say Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. Why do you like Gilmore Girls?
Um, I think it shows the real authenticity of the mom-daughter relationship. If you were to say the things that you never said, like in in that show, they say the things. They say all the things to each other. And the parent-kid dynamic is not always like that, where you can just spout off. Like, and I feel like the fact that the mother is young and single, and she had her child when she was like what, 17, 18. um it creates a different dynamic that makes them close in a way that shows a different side of parent-kid relationships. It shows the gaps, but it also shows the realness. And I mean, my mom was 37 when she had me. And so the closeness in age wasn't something I experienced. And that show, like the mom being in her early 30s and the daughter being a teenager in high school, and them living together, like she wasn't married, and her daughter had this closeness that I think is really special for any relationship to have. And if, like, I didn't have that in my relationships at the time, and I liked seeing the openness that they had with each other, where you could get upset with each other and then you talk it out. And I think I stayed silent because of my own insecurities, and I don't know, being a kid or whatever. Like, I don't know, I don't feel like I fit in. I feel awkward. I mean, we all know the teen years of weirdness. I feel like that show did it so well, in a way that showed how relationships can play out and can be in any aspect, friendship, parent to kid, like, with an openness that wasn't really put on display in that way. Friends, the friend, like, show Friends, they're friends, so the openness is there. But parent to child, it's not necessarily there in that way, um, naturally. And I mean, I've learned that openness, and with my parents now we have that, but I didn't have that openness even with my own friends as a kid. So that would be my, like, favorite show and why. But I mean, I have like five different favorite shows. I hate that kind of question.
And I know that's a hard
Juju,
that's a hard
what's
question.
yours? Marcus, what's yours?
I
My
have no
favorite
idea.
show, I'm probably gonna tell my age here a little bit, but I don't know if anybody remembers that show Airwolf about the high-tech helicopter. I love that show.
No.
No, okay, never mind.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
No offense, I'm sorry.
I am now an outlier.
You are welcome
Um,
here.
What's it called?
um, you know, um, 80s show. But the Juju, did you have a favorite show?
Not really. There's too many of them.
Okay.
What's one of them and
Too
why?
many to pick.
It's a good question. I would say my favorite recent show was Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
I couldn't get into that.
Really?
I have so many friends that really like that show, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
I love it. I feel like they put a lot of time and effort into planning the characters ahead of time before the show and like where they wanted to go, but they let things develop naturally too. And it's like the way that the show is written, the family was very kind of estranged from each other, but they grew closer throughout the seasons in a way that also felt natural, like off screen and on screen, as they developed the rapport on screen. I mean, some of them had already known each other for like decades, but for the most part, like getting to know each other off screen, it like those relationships grew on screen as well, developed in a very natural way. They let the characters, even though they were all like insane in their own unique ways, they were also very grounded in reality. Like that's a family that you could know,
Mhm.
that could be a neighbor, that could be, your kids' classmates' families, or, it's like they're people that you could No, and they were allowed to grow in authentic ways as characters. It wasn't just a happy ending. Um, it left it um open. I don't know. I thought it was just really brilliantly written and well acted and also hilarious, but also again, like they didn't just go for cheap laughs like so many shows today do. Like it was all of it was very grounded, realistic kind of comedy in the insanity of it all. So I
I
really
think
enjoyed
I've
it.
heard about the show. I should probably give it another chance. I only watched like a couple episodes and then I just like I don't know, fell off.
Yeah, give it another shot. You have nothing to lose. So,
Yeah, you should definitely try it
um,
again.
let me see. Krista, you hail from El Paso, Texas, is that correct?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
And I hear you are right there on the international border.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like living literally on the line between the United States and Mexico?
It's fascinating because this is a like 85%, 85 plus percent Hispanic demographic.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm basically taller than everybody I know, standing at 5'10". Um, and it's even interesting because we're on the border, the laws of Texas versus the laws of, New Mexico, for example, where you can buy liquor on the weekends. Well, the next state over is 10 minutes down from me. Living on the west side of El Paso and being a Texan versus living in Houston and being a Texan, I have a different experience because I'm literally on the edge of two different states and one different country. Um, and going across the border, I remember when the military were banned from going across the border with the violence. But I also remember people would go across the border to party because you could party there at 18, not 21 here in the States. And so people would go across the border when I was in college and none of us were 21. And they would try to get me to go with them. And I was like, no, my parents will kill me. Like, they find out. They're like, don't tell them. And I'm like, yeah, they'll probably find out though, because I'm like, not a good liar. So living on the border has given me just these interesting perspectives. Also, Texas is Republican, while El Paso's Democrat. So there's just a lot of
Ah,
flip side, interesting aspects to things. And the best Mexican food, if you guys need to come to
sweet.
El Paso.
All right, go to El Paso. That's where Marty Robbins met the Mexican girl, whatever her name is. I have also heard concerning Texas that they have a very intriguing sense of independence, more than the other 49 states of the Union.
Everything is bigger in Texas.
Is that true?
No, we're not
No. Okay.
better. People just act like that and then everyone else gets a bad rap for it. No.
Oh,
But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember this ornament, this Christmas ornament. Uh, uh, American by birth, Texan by the grace of God. Like,
oh,
because Texas is so big, I mean, like,
yes. It
in
is kind
12
of big.
hours, I can go to the middle of my state. In 12 hours, the other direction, I can cross three states. Like, because it's so big, I think it's gotten a little inflated sense of ego sometimes, but I definitely know what you're talking about.
Well, they do call it the Lone Star State. So, you know.
Yeah, but no, Texas is not better. Texas is just
Okay.
different. And I'm definitely in El Paso, the outlier of Texas. El Paso, we're the outliers. We're not even on the same time zone or electric grid.
Alrighty, so we are yet trying to get to know the Lone Star of Level Up, which is Krista Snow. Um, what is your favorite hobby? What do you like to do in your spare time?
I think you guys both have to answer that if I have to answer that. Because you're
Okay.
supposed to introduce Juju too. And
True.
Marcus, no one knows you either.
I know.
Promise? Okay.
Promise.
Favorite hobby? No, I don't have a favorite, but one hobby that I do have is I really love playing pool.
Ah, I like pool.
Little pool shark over there.
A
It's
little
a
bit of
game
pool shark,
game of
but
angles.
like it's totally random. Like you can't trust it because some days like Chris is a beast, and some days he pulls my cues bounce off.
And
Like white
not
balls
feeling,
over there, and other people got hit in the head. Yeah, you just never
yeah,
know.
Oh no.
not feeling the geometry that day. So okay. Um,
What is
so
your
should we
favorite
get
hobby?
should oh okay, so we're giving our hobbies now.
You have to.
My favorite hobby is hiking, and that's very strange to say living in Florida because we don't have a lot of elevation. So we can't really call it hiking necessarily. We more so call it nature trailing, but I've walked as far as 14 miles in one day. Most people call
Holy
me,
moly!
yeah, most people call me crazy because I go hiking in the woods, but um, to be honest with you, that's where I find I have my best spiritual moments is actually in the woods when nobody's back there and I'm able to pray aloud if I so choose to, and nobody can hear me or see me but the birds. So,
I
um,
totally resonate with that.
but I always come back. I always get back to the parking lot to my vehicle. I'm always energized mentally. Um, and I actually started hiking back in 2015. Well, I keep saying hiking, trailing, back in 2015, and I've been hooked ever since. So
It's basically hiking, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, you know, depending on depending on who you speak to and
Yeah,
who's defining it.
the
So
connoisseurs.
you talk to some people that live in upper Arizona or California or Colorado, you say hi, you live in Florida. What do you know about hiking? So,
Yeah.
it depends. So, but
To me, the
anyway,
difference is like of a hiker and a non-hiker is like, do you have a camelback?
Yeah.
Camelback.
Because like a like a real hiker usually has the backpack that has the straw that like as you're
I do
hiking,
I do bring a backpack with me, but it's not a camelback. But yeah, so
gotta
it's
level
got
up,
my
yo.
it's got my Gatorade in it. It's got my beef. You got to take some beef jerky with you. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta have
exactly.
something
But
to
the
eat.
camelback, it's smaller. It's not like a big
Yeah.
backpack. It's smaller, and then it has the like the thing that you can fill with whatever
All right. I gotta level
weird
up and get a
Gatorade,
camelback
and
now.
then the
So
straw
yeah,
attaches
Yeah.
to the strap on your shoulder and literally just hangs down, so you can just drink and walk. You're not I have to be
I
like,
drink. Oh yep.
stop, guys, hold on,
No.
let me get my water bottle.
Okay. I just normally reach back. I'm pretty smooth with it. I had to practice it first, but yeah. So anyway,
That's
that's my
Juju,
funny.
favorite thing to do.
Oh man. I mean, I have ADHD, so I like all the hobbies. My lifelong one is playing piano. I never took real lessons. Well, I took 3 lessons in 1999 and then I quit because I hated them.
you
It
only
took
took
all the
three
joy and
lessons
fun. Yeah.
Wow. So you're
Um,
you're
and you
self-taught,
play that well.
basically?
Holy moly!
yeah, I play by ear. I
Oh
have my
wow!
Wow.
sister is six and a
That's
half years
amazing.
older than me. So when she was 9, she started taking lessons and I was like 2, maybe 3. Um, And so I would watch her play because I mean she was just my idol. I was absolutely obsessed with her when I was little. Anything she did, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I wanted to be just like her. So when she was playing, I would watch her and I would study her hands and like listen to the sound that each different key would make. Um, there's one time where she was babysitting me and we went over to our neighbor's house and she and our neighbor had the same piano teacher. And so the neighbor was teaching my sister how to play one of the songs that she had just learned in one of her recent lessons. And so I watched them both going back and forth and playing it. And then when I got home later, I taught myself how to play it on the piano that we had. Um,
That's very impressive, Juju.
That is
I
impressive.
thought you had had lessons like I have.
Very
Like I've
impressive.
had lessons since I was 7,
no,
a piano
I
major in
can't read
college. Like
I can't read music or anything. Like, I know that every good boy does fine. So, like, I can make a chart if I want to learn something from sheet music. Like, I can make a chart. I know, like, a sharp is a half step up and a flat is a half step back. But, like, that's the extent of my,
wow.
like, actual music knowledge. The rest is mostly by ear or by, like, using YouTube videos and, like, watching other people play and then doing the same thing, just like copying what their fingers are doing, or just taking somebody else's idea and then going off and doing my own thing and injecting my own emotions on top of it.
That's
Um,
not a common skill. Like that's
Yeah.
a very, very important,
and
When you
to
cut your
think,
first album, let me know. I'll buy one.
right?
You know.
no, that's why I quit piano lessons because it takes all the fun out of it. Doing it for other people, it has to be just for myself. It's my emotional
Ah,
outlet.
okay.
I just, yeah, I do it for fun, but
Understood.
yeah.
Understood. Let me see, because we are just about out of time. Uh, Krista, is there anything that you would like to share as we close about your personal, how can I word this, your personal conviction as regards to Level Up and what you want it to accomplish for our viewers?
Um, you mean as far as what I want people to feel about it or
As
see in it?
what you want them to feel about it, see in it, acquire from it.
I want them to watch a video, and if they resonate with anything that any of us are saying, I want them to feel like, oh, I could be a part of this. I could join the conversation. I can comment. I can engage. I can ask questions. I can learn. I want people to just see open arms with no
It's
expectations of how they need to show up. And when we don't expect things of each other, then we can truly show up as we are and listen, with authenticity. And I think that's important. I also would like to ask both of you to like joining Level Up and seeing what you've seen. What would you want to tell people about what you've seen so far and what I've built? What's your gauge on what Level Up is? Melissa Leitner said hope. That's what it was for her on the intro episode. She said what I was building spoke to her as hope. So what do you
um,
I
guys see?
think
I
my
would
word would
well,
probably be safety.
Hmm.
I want people to feel safe here. I
Yeah.
mean, like we say, like we want people to feel seen and safe and known and loved and heard. Like, but I think safe is the catalyst for all the other things because you have to feel safe to allow yourself to be loved. You have to feel safe to speak up to be heard, you know. You have to feel safe to speak up to be known, and allow yourself to be known, you know. So I think that's the biggest thing is just, you know, you're not just welcome here, but you're safe here.
Hmm.
Any you watching this who comes across it at any time throughout anything that we're doing here at the heart of it, you know, you are safe with us. We'll do everything that we can to keep that promise.
Hmm.
um, I guess when I talked to you guys the other night, I guess the same word is still coming up, and it's grace. Um,
Mm.
I know at least for myself, I've been in situations where I haven't received that grace, and I've made the mistake of assuming that because I didn't get the grace from others, that I wasn't getting grace from God Himself, which obviously
Mm.
that's not the case. But um, I love it's just the three of us right now, talking, so to speak, but I love the idea of people coming here and not really knowing what to expect, but leaving and they can't wait until next Monday because they feel accepted, even though
Mm.
we may not have met them yet, we may not have had the chance to talk with them yet because we do it is a play, it's kind of a play on words when we call this the Igloo. It's kind of a play off of Krista's name, which is snow. It's a cold world, which it gets colder by the second, but we want to provide a warm spot where
Mm-hmm.
people, like Juju said, feel safe. They don't have to feel. There's no judgment here. This is a no judgment zone. Um, if you have something that you need to share with other people and the rest of the world won't listen to you, um, we promise we will do our very best to hear what you have to say.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. We thoroughly hope that you have enjoyed this second segment of Level Up, and there is more to come. Please come back and join us next Monday. For now, this is Marcus signing out. Over and out.
And before I end the live, as we were all just talking right now, one of my favorite quotes is Dr. Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said exactly and what you did exactly, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. And we want to make you feel safe, seen, heard, loved, and so accepted no matter who you are. So we'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.